And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking about the London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, as he gets crippling news as his nightmare comes true. Yes, we've got two bits of information, key bits of information that's bad for Sadiq Khan, and we've also got a campaigner who has been campaigning, of course, for the victims of the grooming gangs, come out and scold him on live television. We're going to be watching that, but quite a lot to go over with regard to the London Mayor. But as always, guys, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. Okay, so first things first, guys. Yesterday I spoke in terms of the situation with regard to America publishing a memo with regard to mass migration and what it's doing to the West. Now, the UK has, of course, been specifically highlighted in certain areas, and we spoke about this before it was actually released in terms of the memo. But this one definitely goes against sort of Sadiq Khan. We're going to be getting to a bit in a minute on the grooming gangs, but this situation here with regards to the Department of State, this is something that, of course, Sadiq always talks about. It's the best thing. He said, "This is London. London is this. London is that. We're a successful multicultural society, and you know, migration makes everything, and this is how it is." But the Department of State, as you can see, mass migration poses an existential threat to Western civilization and undermines the stability of key American allies. Today, the State Department instructed U.S. embassies to report on the human rights implications and public safety impacts of mass migrations. Mass migrations is a human rights concern. Western nations have endured crime waves, terror attacks, sexual assaults, and the displacement of communities. U.S. officials will urge governments to take bold action and defend citizens against the threats posed by mass migration. Officials will also report policies that punish citizens who object to continued mass migration and document crimes and human rights abuses committed by people of migration background. These issues have plagued citizens of Western nations for years. Now, see here, the Department of State, by the way, this is Sadiq Khan, who has completely ignored and refused to even acknowledge what this was. But in the United Kingdom, thousands of girls have been victimized in Rotherham, Oxford, and Newcastle by grooming gangs involving migrant men. Many girls were left to suffer unspeakable abuse for years before authorities stepped in. So remember, Sadiq Khan said that he had no idea what this thing was, played stupid, refused to apologize to the sort of victims. Now we've got the official US Department of State here, guys. You can see 6.6 million followers. The official American Department of State, and of course them releasing a memo highlighting this key issue, and of course mass migration that he advocates for and speaks so highly of. Now on to the grooming gang situation. Of course, as we stated, he has came out time and time again and said that he doesn't have any knowledge of them in London. This is not something that he's aware of, you know, taking the absolute piss out of the victims. Now, Keir Starmer was asked about this situation yesterday, and of course you take things with what Keir Starmer says with a pinch of salt, because I do believe he's complicit in terms of protecting his people inside the Labour government. But he's pledged he will leave no stone unturned and investigate the scale of abuse in London primarily as well. The National Inquiry into Grooming Gangs will leave no stone unturned and investigate scale of abuse of children in London, Keir Starmer has pledged. Last month, Reform UK leader Nigel Farage accused Mayor of London, Sir Sadiq Khan, take away that, sir. Sorry, that was outrageous from me. Sadiq Khan and the Metropolitan Police of denying the existence of group-based child sexual exploitation in the capital. Scotland Yard recently said 9,000 cases of child sexual exploitation were being reviewed by officers following a national review into group-based sexual exploitation, which found it was more widespread, organised and underreported than previously acknowledged. Pressed on whether Sadiq has been gaslighting Britons over the scandal by reporters en route to the G20 in South Africa, Keir Starmer said, "I think the National Inquiry can cover this, and the approach we've taken is no stone unturned. Whether it's in London or elsewhere, I've always said where there's evidence that could be investigated by the police, whether that's looking at old cases or new cases, that should be the first priority. My strong view is in these cases, that if there is evidence to put people before criminal courts, that is the first step and that should be taken. More broadly, the National Inquiry will leave no stone unturned, whether it is in this country." The mayor's spokesperson, Sadiq, regarded gangs that exploit children for sex as utterly abhorrent, and he wanted justice for every single victim. But we've never actually heard him say that, He has to come through his spokesperson. But this is crippling news for Sadiq Khan because he's playing on the mantra that they don't exist in London whatsoever. London is the most perfect place, etc., etc. And yeah, this is just complete nonsense, far-right rhetoric that comes from Sadiq Khan's mouth. But of course, if again, we've got to take what Keir Starmer says. He's a compulsive liar as well. But of course, he's going to be investigating on his patch and leaving no stone unturned. And we've seen whistleblowers come out with regard to Sadiq and said that he was complicit in, or allegedly covering up these sort of things as well. Now, let's get on over to where a campaigner for the grooming gangs come out and literally savagely destroys Sadiq Khan on live television.
In the capital. The Prime Minister is now vowing to investigate cases nationwide, leaving no stone unturned. This is being seen as a swipe at Sadiq Khan, who seems to think there isn't a problem. And when he was questioned on this subject in the London Assembly, he claimed to need the whole concept of grooming gangs explained to him. In any case, I'm joined now by CEO of Freedom from Abuse, Marilyn Hawes. Marilyn, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, this, in theory, sounds like good news, because how can grooming gangs be operating literally in every city and town across the country, but not London?
Well, this is the point, isn't it? I mean, do we believe Keir Starmer? I don't know. I mean, he tells lies. He never follows through, does he? Is he going to follow through on this? I think me and everybody's uncle and their dog is going to be on his back if they don't. And along all of this are the poor victims who have waited so long. And I saw something today, actually, that said, which I hadn't heard of before, but it's, I don't know whether it's always been there. I think it must be. But they are denying compensation to victims of this crime who had gone on and committed a crime themselves. Now, given that some of these people have been young kids, they're out on the streets, they're desperate to find a way to live and get their life back together again. So I don't know. I think that needs looking into as well. And whatever comes out of this is not racist. It's not far right. It's justice. And no one protects kids in this country. I think he's an absolute snake. I cannot stand Sadiq Khan. I really can't Sadiq Khan. I mean, I'm also confused that he's saying that he, having said he didn't think it exists. Well, no, grooming gangs don't exist. They are barbaric rape gangs on an industrial scale across the UK, Mr. Mayor. And then he goes on to say, though, but in London, they're more complex. How? Why? I mean, it's a blueprint. You have the hook, who targets the youngsters. Then you have the coordinators, which are the cars, the taxis, the big blacked out windows and all that. And then you have the perpetrators. And those perpetrators are often 3 times older than the children that have been selected. And then those children and given alcohol, beaten up, are told they're going to be the next hook. And if they dare tell, and that's why there's a wall of silence, if they dare tell for you and your parents, and they will, they are brutal beyond imagination. Now, Sadiq Khan, if he has ignored, denied, doesn't understand how these gangs work, could he step aside, please? Could Keir Starmer do the first decent thing and get rid of him? Because he's not fit for purpose. He's just not fit for purpose. And I mean, and this should be without fear or favour. And if you've got thousands and hundreds, and you will have, of Pakistani, Bangladeshi men, tough. You arrest them, you deport them, you put them behind bars, and you get rid of your 2-tier policing, because it does exist. And it just drives me mad. It really does. That, what's the point in these, well, ladies now, what's the point in them having had that courage to come forward if they are going to be silenced, if it's going to go on the back burner again? I've got no faith in Starmer or Khan. They're bad at each other. And then you've got to think of Mark Rowley, Sir Mark Rowley. Now, what's his role been in this? Because Sadiq Khan is like a little tin god with the Met Police, isn't he? As you can see, I'm not a fan.
No, I mean, and very, very strong, passionate words, Marilyn. I can understand entirely why, because, this has been going on for 2 decades, over 20 years, that young girls have been...
longer, 30 years, 30 years.
And it's still going on. And for the mayor of our capital city to actually say, well, it's a complex issue and I'm not sure it's going on in the city. I mean, is he frightened of being accused of being racist? Is that his problem?
Excuse me, he's Muslim, isn't he?
Yes, of course. Yes, absolutely. But
you know, is he protecting his own? Who knows? But he's not doing the decent thing for these girls and also boys. Don't forget, it's also boys. And let me also tell you, they do not all come from residential care children's homes. Some of them I have met have come from perfectly nice middle-class homes, if you want to go classist about it. Even those very wealthy families where children have been left on their own with the devices, with a nanny looking after them or whatever. They get bored, they get picked up. I mean, one of the worst places, and I have known this for years, is outside and around Westminster. You're telling me he didn't know? Is he blind? You know, he just, and if you're going to be in that rank denial where he thinks it's more complex, he is absolutely doesn't know the basics of this. And that's not an excuse to ignore it. There's 9,000 that they know. This is and why wouldn't it be London? You've got trains, you've got tubes, you've got loads of eating out places, you know, food outlets, all that sort of stuff. And people just need to open their eyes. If you know what you're looking for, you can see it a mile off. And if he would like to sit down with me, I can tell him how he can see. I'll take him there. I'll show him where it's happening. I mean, it's bonkers. And the fact that everybody has denied this for 30 years, Dawn, is criminal in itself, because I know a lawyer. It was a gentleman who got in touch with me after I was on GB News a few months ago, and he had been a detective up in Lancashire, and he had been seconded to the Blackburn area just for 3 weeks to investigate burglaries that were going on there by Pakistani and Bangladeshi men that they thought were like funding this habit. He didn't know what was going on, but he was noticing young girls talking to taxi drivers. Now, let me tell you, some of those taxi drivers are back out on the streets. Why? And then he went back to his own police station, and or police station where he was seconded to for 3 weeks. And he said, I'm not happy about what I've seen. I don't know what it is I've seen, but there's these girls and they're getting in cars, and he was told to be quiet. He said, oh no, sir, you know, the guy at the top, he knows it all. No, you only got to talk to Maggie Oliver. She lost her job because she called this out. And I've been saying the Pakistani word on air for over 20 years. And everybody thinks I'm stupid, and I'm not. And if I know it, Sadiq Khan should know it. He's no right to be in post.
Marilyn, I can hear the anger and passion in your voice. Thank you so much for joining us today. That's Marilyn Hawes, who is CEO of Freedom from Abuse. Thank you very much.
Well, I don't think the UK is ready for, well, I think we actually are, but I mean, I think there is going to be a lot of shocking details when this is fully uncovered. And people like Sadiq Khan do not like this one bit. The pressure on this is too much, and it's coming close to sort of Judgment Day, if you like, and certainly we will find out the truth with regard to the London Mayor. Guys, do let me know your thoughts on everything we discussed in today's video, and as always, please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more.